You're watching Metallica, and I'm your host CJ, and it is album ranking time. It is the almighty Kreator album ranking that I've been putting off for the last 2 years because they have an absolute massive discography, and it takes me a while to listen to, but surprisingly, yeah, none of the albums were boring, and I enjoyed every single minute of Kreator's albums, which only breeds one thing: history on the channel for a discography, getting 15 perfect albums. Yep, 15 perfect albums. Yep, I never thought I would see the day where a band gets every single album perfect from like 1985 and onwards until 2022. Like, holy shit. 15 albums that are absolutely perfect from front to back. Like, that is impossible to do, honestly, but for me, but that's only in my opinion that they're perfect. My opinion are their Kreator's perfect with albums. So there has to be a number 15 and there has to be a number 1. Yada yada yada. We've already gone through this and other rankings. You probably already watched from me, so I will just go into it. Not waste your time with the whole like, oh, if it's like a tie. No, I won't do that. I won't waste your time. Before I re-recorded this video because I spoiled another ranking like a complete fucking idiot. Yeah, and I uploaded it for like 2 minutes and took it down. So if you saw the video, sorry. Hopefully you read the description and didn't watch the video. But yeah, because I don't have editing software because, well, I can't find any. I can't find any that are actually affordable for me. Yeah, Outcast at number 15. Best songs on the record are Phobia, Outcast, and Ruin of Life. Just, I don't really go to this album too much because it's like groove metal and not thrash metal, because I want to listen to thrash metal when I go for Kreator, and basically thrash metal was killed by grunge. I'm going to stress this a lot. I've always said this on my channel, that you will never see me do a grunge album review or anything, because, well, I don't like grunge at all. Like, yeah, I don't care for grunge. So hearing an album from the 90s that isn't grunge is absolutely amazing, because a lot of the thrash bands decided to do some part like grunge stuff. And yeah, Kreator didn't, so it was great. Let's move on. Endorama at number 14. Their gothic metal album. Another one that I kind of find myself not listening to too much, but when I do listen to it, I enjoy it front to back and will want a copy because I don't have an actual CD of it. Number 13, I do have a CD of, so you will see that one. Songs like Endorama, Passage to Babylon, and Soul Eraser are like the best 3 on the album, and I will move on from there because I basically said my piece and what I think of the album. It's perfect, but not one that I want to listen to outside of like when I'm like wanting to listen to gothic metal. And that's like a slim time, but it's probably one of the best gothic metal albums I've listened to. Number 13, Renewal. Their first one outside of their thrash metal from 1992. And like I said before, grunge killed thrash metal because thrash metal wouldn't sell. It probably would sell, honestly. It probably would have sold, but the record companies didn't want it, so it was like, you have to do other shit. But they kind of snuck a little bit of it in there and kind of make the vocals a little more gritty. And I would say that people hate this album because of the vocals. The vocals you have to get used to on this album. They're definitely a hill to climb. But when you do, you'll realize that some of the songs like Winter Martyrdom, Renewal, and Europe After the Rain, and Depression Unrest are pretty good songs. You will find the industrial thrash metal mix to be pretty enjoyable. When I first listened to Kreator, I absolutely hated this album. But when I got more into like industrial metal, got more into like KMFDM, that type of stuff, I kind of dabbed in this album a little bit more and liked it for what it was. Number 12 is Enemy of God, the 2005 album from Kreator. Enemy of God, great song, great riffs, probably one of the best Kreator songs. Impossible Brutality, Suicide Terrorists, World Anarchy, Dystopia, Voices of the Dead, Murder Fantasies, and the rest of the album's kind of like in the motions Kreator. You've heard it before, but it's good to listen to again and you'll enjoy it. But the first 7 songs are just absolutely fucking amazing, like honestly. Then the 8 to 12 is kind of like the fall off point for the album, but doesn't fall off to the point where it's like bad or anything. And not boring. It's still pretty thrashy and still fun to listen to. But yeah, that's what I think of Enemy of God. I think it's like one of the better thrash albums from 2005. Number 11, Extreme Aggression. Holy shit. I know this album is one of the absolute classics of the band, but I just find myself not listening to it too much. And I like it in full, but I like it front to back, and I can listen to it front and back and enjoy it, but I don't really go back to this album because there's just so many other Kreator albums I could be listening to. Songs like Extreme Aggression, Betrayer, and Some Pain Will Last, plus songs like Bringer of Torture, Fatal Energy, and Stream of Consciousness. Those are the songs I really listen to on this album and enjoy. It's kind of like the common like thrash metal sound with like Kreator vocals. It's like, it's less like the first 3, honestly. And then Coma of Souls kind of goes back a little bit and gives you a little bit like of a peak to that, but this is mostly just like the thrash metal that was being put out at the time and didn't really put itself out from the pack. I kind of compare it to like Destruction at the time, but Destruction had this like other aura about him at the time of that album. Yeah. And number 10 is Phantom Antichrist. Their newer album, one of their newer albums from 2012. What to say about this album? I like this album from front to back. This is where they went more melodic. Phantom Antichrist, absolutely fucking awesome riffs on the song. Death to the World, From Flood to Fire, Civilization Collapse, United in Hate. Holy shit, great fucking song. That's one of my favorites on this album, honestly. The Few, the Proud, the Broken, Your Heaven, My Hell, Victory Will Come, and Until Our Paths Cross Again. Holy shit. The top 10 is like really close, honestly. It still has it doesn't have the weird clean production as in Gods of Violence, but Gods of Violence just has has better songs on it, better song selection, so it kind of like, yeah. Number 9, I kind of struggled through that one for some reason, kind of couldn't get my focus back, but number 9, Hordes of Chaos from 2009. And holy shit, this album has some absolute fucking bangers on it, like War Curse, Escalation, Amok Run, Destroy What Destroys You, Radical Resistance, just the whole fucking album. Killer album. Kind of like the modern thrash without the weird melodic sense that was on Phantom Antichrist. And yeah, I'm going to move on from this album because that's all I had to say about it. Sorry, we're not going into detail with that album, but really that album is basically Kreator, but a little bit more has a little bit more balls to it than what Enemy of God had. Number 8, like I said before, Gods of Violence. The production is way too fucking clean. Like, everybody gripes about this, but it's not to the point where it actually bumps it down to like if the songs weren't as good as they are on this album, it would be last, honestly. Songs like World War Now, Satan is Real, holy shit, that is like one of my favorite Kreator songs. The fucking video they have for it is absolutely crazy. Oh, the video for it, man. Totalitarian Terror, another one of the best of Kreator. Gods of Violence, Army of Storms, Hail to the Hordes, Lion with Eagle Wings. That song is fucking amazing. Fallen Brother. Yeah, if you've not listened to this album and have missed out on a new Kreator, you are really missing out, because, like, basically Kreator, Destruction kind of, like, have a new album tinge to them that, like, their new albums are pretty damn good. I'm not gonna do what I did before and do something really fucking stupid that you would know if you were me, but you wouldn't know if you were outside of, like, if you weren't me. So, leave it at that. Next one, number 7, Cause of Conflict, the one that everybody shits on. I don't get why this one is so bad. I don't know why everybody doesn't like this album. I think this album is fantastic. Men Without God. Men Without God. Like, holy shit, that song is fucking awesome. Like, I absolutely love that song. Catholic Despot, Progressive Proletarian, I think it is, Crisis of Disorder, Hate Inside Your Head. Oh man, this album is like the industrial metal, thrash metal that was on Renewal, but it's like way fucking better, honestly. The vocals are like on fucking point, where like basically it's like Kreator vocals. They don't try to do that weird thing they were doing with the vocals before. And yeah, it's this high on the list. I think this album is amazing. I can get into it basically because I like industrial metal somewhat. Like, industrial metal is like not one of my favorite genres, as like the only like really big industrial band that I go into is like KMFDM outside of this album. But yeah, this album is pretty damn good, and I don't know why everybody hates it. Number 6, just missing top 5, is the new album, Hate Über Alles. Yeah, number 5 is, or number 4 and above are set in stone. There's no album that'll ever get there, ever get ahead of those 4, and those 4 will never change, because that's basically set in stone for years. It's been my favorites. So let's go into the new album. Hate Über Alles, the title track, absolute banger of a title track. Killer of Jesus, the absolute best song on the record. Crush the Tyrants, Strongest of the Strong, Become Immortal, Conquer and Destroy, Midnight Sun. It's probably my least favorite song on the album, but still good. Demonic Future, Pride Comes Before the Fall, Dying Planet to end it. Dying Planet being more of like a laid back but heavy as fuck song, but like ends the album off like, yeah, I listened to this and I'm very fucking happy I did. Like, I don't know what it is about thrash metal this year. There's been so many good fucking thrash albums this year. Like, you have Destruction and you have Kreator both releasing this year, both of them being absolute fucking banger albums. Like, and even on Hate Über Alles, that like scream he does is kind of like the scream that's on the first song on I think it's called Ravenous, like the Destruction record. It's like what the fuck, man? The first like actual song and the like Hate Über Alles song has that same type of scream that's on the first Destruction song and the new album of Destruction. It's just, I don't know, man. It's awesome. But number 5, Violent Revolution. Violent Revolution. And holy shit, is it a violent album. This album is absolutely fucking violent at 52 minutes. I think it's 52. Conquering the Throne, Patriarch, Violent Revolution. That song is a fucking classic. Sounds like classic Kreator, but isn't classic Kreator because it's 2001, but it's like the return to the form album that they haven't They haven't done an album quite as good since. All in the Same Blood, Servant in Heaven, King in Hell, Second Awakening, Ghetto War, Slave Machinery, Bittersweet Revenge, Mind on Fire, System Decay. From front to back, this album is fucking amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. Can't emphasize it enough that this is like top 5. This is like top 5, so this is like the best ones of the best. Next one, at number 4, is one that's set in stone, which is Pleasure to Kill. And yeah, I just pissed off every single Kreator fan in the comments section because I put Pleasure to Kill at number 4 and not number 1. Yeah, the albums before it are definitely better, my opinion, but this is still like a perfect record. You have stuff like Ripping Corpse, Death is Your Savior. It starts out with Choir of the Damned, like Pleasure to Kill, Rite of Violence, The Pestilence, the best song on the record. Absolutely love The Pestilence. That whole drumming, that weird drum sound they have is kind of like primitive, and basically this album is like one of the... You could say this album's kind of death metal. But I know if I say it's death metal, I will be pretty much pissing off everybody in the metal community by saying it. But yeah, Carrion, Command of the Blade, and Under the Guillotine, I don't... Absolutely classic record. The guitars are fucking heavy as fuck, and everything is just absolutely amazing on it. Number 3, Comb of Souls, the 1990 album that came out that I've already mentioned when I talked about Extreme Aggression, and that was at number 11. This is number 3. Yeah, one of the best albums in the 90s from thrash, before the genre we don't talk about, grunge. We talk about it in the bad light that it is. Like, we talk about grunge in the bad light that it is. It killed thrash metal. Definitely did. And this album is like the album before the fall for thrash metal. It's kind of like the last dying, and thrash metal died on a good note with this album. You could say, if you say it died on Anthrax's Persistence of Time, then it died on a really bad note. But yeah, like, best songs on here: Calm of Souls, People the Lie being the absolute best song on this album, Terror Zone, Agents of Brutality, Twisted Urges, Hidden Dictator. Fucking great stuff. And move on to number 2, which is Endless Pain, their first album. Yeah, their first album at this high. You really don't see their band's first albums high on my lists, because usually they have a lot better stuff from their first album. This album is just so fucking primitive. It's so just gritty and nasty. And songs like Endless Pain, Total Death, Storm of the Beast, which is like absolutely amazing, Tormentor, Son of Evil, Flag of Hate, Cry War, Bonebreaker, Living in Fear, and Dying Victim. From front to back, this album is just completely mind-numbing, brain, whatever the fuck you want to say, thrash metal. And yeah, it's basically one of my favorite thrash albums of all time. But there's an album ahead of it, but you already know which one it is. Terrible Certainty. I'm sorry, this is the best Kreator album in my opinion. Blind Faith, probably one of the best Kreator songs ever. Storming with Menace, Terrible Certainty, absolute classic song. As the World Burns, Toxic Trace, No Escape, One of Us, and Behind the Mirror. It's not as raw as the 2 before. It still is raw as shit. Still raw as fuck. Still has the Kreator oomph behind it. That the kind of sound you think when you hear Kreator. But this is like the perfected, like, mainstay album in my opinion. That if I want Kreator, this is the album I listen to first. Always, never will go with another album outside of it. But yeah, that's how I rank Kreator. Like I said before, one of my favorite thrash bands ever, if not. But I kind of have a little bit of a problem here, because Kreator and Destruction are like probably my two favorite thrash bands ever. I've done a ranking on Destruction. Go check that one out, and I will see you guys when I decide to upload another video, which will probably be in the next coming days. And yeah, stay metal, and I will see you guys next time.